Well, hello. This is Daniel Harrold, and I'm here to tell you a little bit today on how to make a flipped video if you're interested in making a flipped classroom. There's been a lot of talk about flipped classrooms over the past couple of years, and if you're watching this, that means you're interested. So, if you're going to make a flipped video, how do you do it? What tools do you need, and what tips do you keep in mind? All I'm going to do today is share with you a little bit about what I have done, and then you can make it up to you. The first thing people ask is hardware. What do I need? What kind of camera? I would say odds are you already have the camera you need. Most laptops have a webcam. That's what I'm filming this with right now. Smartphones have pretty solid cameras with them, as well as iPads and any other tablet devices. Most point-and-shoot cameras have a video camera component to them. And if you really want, you can use an actual video camera, but those are obviously a little more expensive, and you really don't need to go out and buy one. So I would say use what you already have. Number two, where do I film my video? You can film it anywhere you want. You can film it in your classroom. You can film it in your office. You can film it in space, like I am now. Of course, I'm not actually in space. I'm in my basement in front of a green cloth. There's a lot of great tools out there that have a lot of green screen functionality into it. So, the third question is, how do I edit my video? Okay. This is where it gets a little more complicated. I would say the best tool out there is one called Camtasia. It works for Mac and it works for PC. I think it's a little more expensive for PC than Mac, but check around online. Usually you can find it on sale somewhere. There's some free tools out there. I know Windows Movie Maker exists and iMovie exists. Those can easily edit some videos together. But what those don't have is a screen capturing ability. Camtasia lets you capture what's on the screen as well as what's on the camera at the same time. It's pretty cool. Some other tools out there that are free. One is called Screencast-O-Matic, and another one is called Jing. Take a look at those. They're a little more limited in how much you can edit, but they do have some screen capture ability. And really, screen capture makes it very simple. So that's what you need to get started. When you go to make your video, you want to keep a couple of things in mind. Number one, you want to keep your video short. How short? Well, a rule of thumb is 1 minute per grade level. So if you're teaching 10th grade, make a 10-minute video. If you're only teaching 2nd grade, you want to keep your videos shorter. This is just a general rule. There's no hard data there, but again, it's better to make a lot of short videos than to make one mega video, or else people will zone out. Number two, you want to have something visual change on screen every 30 seconds or so. If you go too long with just you talking and there's nothing for students' eyes to latch onto, it's going to get boring. You may have noticed throughout this video that I've had something different happen every now and then. Maybe it's just a graphic pop up, maybe it's a change of setting, boom, time travel, right? Or maybe it's simply that I have a slideshow up on the side and I'm going to go through some bullets, but you want to make sure that it's visually changing. Number three, you want to do picture-in-picture if you can. What does that mean? Well, it means, for example, let's say I'm doing a lecture on body paragraphs. We have the PowerPoint here, and then in the corner you have me. That's a lot different than if it's just a disembodied voice. Students like to be able to see their teacher. They've done a number of studies on this, and for whatever reason, people like to see their teacher there. And that leads us to number four. Number four, you want to be yourself. You're not making the videos to make a collection for the Library of Congress. You're making these videos for your students, which means you need to be authentic. What does that mean? Well, when you're teaching in class, you have your own little quirks. You'll tell some jokes. You'll go off on a slight tangent. Maybe you'll mess up a word and then recover, and it's just something that you do. For myself, I know a lot of times I say the wrong word, and I keep having to go back and say it again. When I make my videos, I don't edit that out. I keep it in because that's who I am. I don't edit out all of the little pauses I take between sentences. I don't edit out my awkward hand gestures. I don't speak very professionally. I speak like I normally do in class because if a student's watching this, they want to see you, and they want to see you as you normally are. That being said, don't waste their time. If you go and start talking about a story that you saw the Pirate game this weekend and how upset you were that they lost, students are going to get bored. You want to make sure that you get back on track quickly, but be yourself. Now, what point was that? You see, I already forgot. Let's say that was point 4. Point 5, you can use outside content if you can. If you're using Camtasia or iMovie or Movie Maker, it's usually very simple to cut in some extra ability So, for example, I was giving a speech once on how to write a good story, and I brought Steve Jobs in to tell the students something. Here's what he said.
And so, in Hollywood, one of the most popular sayings is, the story is king. But it turns out it really isn't. Because when push comes to shove, when a movie's in production and there's a lot of mouths to feed and they're waiting for stuff to make, and the story's not working, almost everybody says, well, we just have to make the movie. And one of the things that I'm proudest of Pixar of is we have a story crisis on every movie, and production's rolling, and there's mouths to feed, and something's just not working, and we stop. We stop and we fix the story. Because John Lasseter, who's one of the founders of Pixar, he really instilled a culture of story, story, story. And even though Pixar is the most technologically advanced studio in the world, John has a saying that's really stuck, which is no amount of technology will turn a bad story into a good story.
Okay, you get the idea. So you want to bring in some outside resources if you can. Finally, feel free to use the screen to your advantage. Right now I have a PowerPoint up, and with a PowerPoint we can do several things. We can just click through it like it's a normal PowerPoint slideshow. I can actually just take my mouse over and I can annotate it as if I'm changing something. Maybe I had a Word document up and I want to write on it. Or if you're using Camtasia or another tool, there's usually some built-in annotation features, like I could circle the word recommended here, or I could highlight the word thesis and use some of the tools that you have available to you. My final tip would be, these don't have to be perfect, these have to be manageable. So don't obsess over making sure the video is absolutely perfect with every single visual cue all set. If you do, you'll never get them done and you'll be overwhelmed. Eventually, you just have to say, hey, it's good enough, and put it out there. Now, if you're working on a special project, if you want one great, exciting video to start a unit that you plan months in advance, by all means, go for it. But if you're going to be making a whole bunch of these, you just have to get into a pattern and get into a rhythm. So those are just a few overviews on how to make a video. Once your video is made, you can post it to Vimeo. You can post it to YouTube. There's a lot of great sites out there that do it for free. And then we can talk about how you want your students to access it. You can put it onto Weebly, or you can put it on Blackboard and have students watch it there. Well, that was just a quick overview on some tips to making a video for your flipped classroom. If you have any questions, let me know, and I'll recommend some people. Or of course, you can check out some of my other videos in my channel, which is right here. Or you can take a look at my website, or you can email me, or find me on Twitter. All right, well, thanks for stopping by. Have a great day.